Hello, everybody. Welcome to Townsend 505. My name is Nick. Welcome to the channel if you are new, or welcome back if you're a early viewer. Today, joining me is Jason again throughout our Kinks journey.
Hmm.
How are you doing this fine afternoon?
I'm doing really good. Uh,
Nice. Today, we're going to be reviewing their 12th album, Preservation, Act 1.
oh, you have it. Wow.
Yeah, I'm a completist. I'm trying to own every British Invasion album, and the Kinks were part of the British invasion, so
I imagine that's not one that's easy to find.
I found this at my record store for $13, but who knows? I don't know how it's like to find it in Kansas. They
well,
sorry.
I went to Barnes and Nobles and I found one album. Boy, I found this album, which
Yes,
I was excited for.
look at
They
it. Look
also,
at our previous episode where we cover that album.
yeah, we just covered the album last episode, and I found at Barnes and Nobles. They also had Arthur and Face to Face on vinyl.
Hmm.
So those are only three I found at Barnes and Nobles. I don't see Kinks very often. Like I went to the other store I went to, I didn't see any Kinks there. But
Would you see yourself ever buying those albums?
definitely will get Arthur and like Preservation, Village Green Society,
Oh
and
yeah,
Lola.
and something else. I think that's another one you gave a nine.
Yeah, and I'll consider Face to Face and something else maybe as well. But yeah,
Mhm. Yeah, I don't see you getting the debut or the second album.
no, and yeah, those two and Muswell Hillbillies I won't see myself getting. But
Mhm. I could see you getting everything else though before this
yeah,
album.
yeah, I can get those.
Um, but what are your brief thoughts on this album?
Yeah, yeah. Now we get to this one after getting the last one, which was I thought this great country folk album that I really like the style. This is going. This is I don't know how to. It definitely it's got some pop in it, maybe a little rock in there. It's a mixture, and then it has some like I don't know vaudevillian style or something in there. That's a little off and so it's got some good and some bad, I think, mixed in. We'll get into these songs. Looking it up, like it's supposed to be a concept album of some kind, though it didn't say on Wikipedia what the concept was. Also, we got something about morning and midday, so it's going through the day, and I don't know what exactly is going on here. But Kings like to do that. They like to do these like kind of concept album ideas.
Mhm.
Though I don't always get exactly what the concept is, but you see that there's some kind of concept there. It looked like it didn't do particularly very well when it came out in 1973 as far as record sales, though it said the reviews actually weren't too bad or something like that. So, but I think there's not really. I mean, this is not an album I think anybody really talks about or will talk about when talking about the Kinks. Unfortunately, it's one of those that will kind of probably be left behind.
Yeah, you put that pretty well. This is a forgotten album amongst Kinks fans, rightly so. This is one of their worst albums ever made. It's this is the first of four albums that's part of their theatrical period. Um, this is not even the worst of the four, but this is really bad. Um, there are some good highlights on here, but we'll go over that when we review the album. Um, what are your thoughts on the album cover?
I don't know.
Just picture of the band with some guy's face.
Yeah,
I don't know who this is. I don't know who the guy is in the
yeah,
front, but it's a person. Um, we get to the first track on the album. It's called the Morning Song.
yeah. Interesting. We start with morning, so it's like there's and this connected with the second one. Sounds like yeah, it has some idea of getting up in the morning. I guess I don't know, starting the day.
Hmm.
But this man, what a really bad way to start your album to me is it's. to me, probably the most boring song on the album. There's nothing really to it. It's more instrumental with some humming in it or something. And yeah, it's like, wow, you want to start your album with a bang usually. And like this is just starts it out with such a boring, nothing song, in my opinion.
Um, just before I give my thoughts on this song, this is supposed to be like kind of like a sequel to the Village Green Preservation Society album.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like that they had to go back to what they were doing on that album because I think they did that perfectly on that album. And this album's just weird. Um, they even bring up Johnny Thunder on a song.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but my thoughts on this track, I agree with you, Jason. This is pretty bad opener. Um, this is definitely their worst album opener as of now. Um, I even think this is worse than Beautiful Delilah
Beautiful
from
Delilah. Yeah.
that song's bad, but this is really bad.
Yeah.
I think their album openers are great up until now.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is awful, especially compared to the last album with "Here Comes Yet Another Day." That song's great, and then you get this
Mhm.
one, just not good. That song that track kind of goes into daylight.
Yeah, it seems. I wonder if it's connected, yeah, to Daylight in a sense.
Hmm.
Kind of intro to that song, maybe. And Daylight, I really like the song. I thought it was a really good Kinks song. You know, like we always get, I feel like every album we get at least one of these really great Kinks songs on here, except for Mooseville Hillbillies, like maybe the only one I didn't really have any great songs on it. But um, I thought it was real catchy, nice pop song, and I thought the horns were great on it. Yeah, it was definitely a highlight of the album, amongst a couple highlights, but not a lot of highlights, but this is definitely a big highlight.
I agree. This is one of the best songs on the album. I'm I don't know whether this is my favorite on the album or another song on the album, but this is definitely up there. Having that said, it does not compete well compared to the best songs on the last album, like "Sitting in My Hotel," "Celluloid Heroes," and "I'm a Supersonic Rocket Ship." You know, you compare
Mhm.
this song to those, and it's like it's great for this album, but
Right.
if you're comparing it to their other great songs like "You Really Got Me" and you know, Arthur and Lola, it just comes off short. But it's good for this album. Then we get to probably the song that most fans like, and it's "Sweet Lady Genevieve."
Yeah, it feels like this is one people point out. I think is one of the best on this album, and I agree. It's one of it's yeah. I think it's one of the better songs on the album for sure. Again, I thought it was a pretty nice pop song overall. Yeah, I kind of agree with what you're saying. Like when I'm considering the album, it's pretty good. But if I consider amongst like Kink's better stuff, it's not up to S tier stuff, but it's like it's fine. It's not bad.
Yeah, the best songs on this album, I would put at A tier.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
you get to the other albums, all the best songs on even the debut, the best songs on the debut were S tier to me. Like "Really
Mhm.
Got Me," uh, "So Mystifying." Like those songs are way better than anything on this album. I'm in agreement with the fans. I love the song. I think it's definitely one of the better songs on the album. I really like the song. Again, it's not one of their best songs, but I think it works for the album. I think it's one of the better songs. Now we get to the next song. There's a change in the weather.
Yeah, to me this was okay. Um, it's kind of mediocre for a Kinks song, but yet probably one of the better ones on the album. Again, I like the horns. I'm always loving the horns when they throw on. Last album, I really complimented the horn section, and this album there's actually quite a bit of horns too that I think helped the album out. But um, besides that, it's not one I probably go back to too much.
I think this song is horrible. Starts off like with this kind of jamminess to it, and then out of nowhere these horns come in. Um, and then kind of this opera thing came in. I'm like, this is awful. I'm like, what the hell
Yeah.
is going on? Like,
Yeah, they throw in a lot of weird stuff like that in
the,
this
the song
songs.
doesn't the song doesn't know what it wants to be, and I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
this is awful.
Hmm.
I would think it's okay. Like the beginning is okay. Like most of the song's okay, but at the end, it's like, okay, like I don't want this.
Yeah,
Could have
yeah.
just finished it off before. I'm like, I'm done with this song. um, now we get to the next track. Where are they now?
Yeah, I guess pretty similar. I thought it was okay at times. It was fine, not a really great Kinks pop song necessarily, and I thought it was boring at parts, but uh yeah, to me a lot of these songs are just I like it doesn't really do anything for me, but it's not that they're terrible, terrible songs, but it's just like I'm not like over the hill about most of the stuff.
Yeah, I think this is a boring song too.
Okay.
I think this sounds like a reject song from Everybody's in Showbiz. Like they didn't like it wasn't good enough for that album, so then they put it on this album. To me, it sounds like that. Um, yeah, I'm with you. It's a boring song. It's nothing really going for it. Just sounds like one of the many other better ballads that they wrote, like Celluloid Heroes.
Hmm.
Um, Now we get to the last song on side one, and that is One of the Survivors.
Well, Survivor's actually one of the better songs on the album. I actually kind of liked. It's maybe the best rock song on the album. It's got real good fast kind of pace and beat to it. I really liked the piano on it. I thought they had a really good like rocking piano throughout it. So it was, I think, one of the better songs that on this album.
I actually don't like the song either. I don't like this song. This song is so bad. I hate the beginning where he mentions Johnny Thunder. I'm like, oh, come on, leave that masterpiece of an album alone. Like, please stop it. Uh, this is awful. I don't like the way that he's singing on it. I mean, not that I'm saying he's like Roger Daltrey or anything, but man, this is just awful. I can't stand listening to this. I don't know what about it that I don't like. It's just I don't like it. Um, now uh, we get to flip the record over as everyone likes to do. Then we get to cricket.
Wow, uh, man, that's funny. This is the first song on this side, and this is another just absolutely terrible song. Uh, Maybe the second worst song behind Morning Song, the first song. And so we're beginning the second side with a really boring. This is another just terribly boring song. It's not really even a pop song. I feel like this is almost vaudevillian. The way he sings it so slowly, and there's like this tuba that's really heavy on it. That's like, I'm like, what is this song? Like, it doesn't sound like anything that the Kinks have done, or should be doing, in my opinion. Cricket, I don't know if that's referring to the sport cricket or what exactly. That's a very British thing, of course. So I don't know. Yeah, to me, this is one of the worst they probably have ever done.
I think this is awful too. So it's like fourth track in a row, and I'm like, oh man, this is really dragging on me. I'm like,
Yeah.
how can the same band that made five of the best albums of all time just make something like this and call it a day? Um, that's what I always ask. Even after everybody's in showbiz, I'm like, how can a band that made everybody in showbiz make this after that? I'm like, oh man, this is really bad. I agree. This is not a fun listen. um, Now I get to a track called "Money and Corporation" / "I Am Your Man."
Yeah, what a weird title. Again, I thought this was a really boring song. Didn't really catch my interest, to be honest. Didn't really have anything catchy to it. It's just there kind of song.
Yeah, this doesn't show the Kinks' full potential. And, like,
Hmm.
I know what I like about the Kinks. You know what you like about the Kinks, and none of that's there for either of us. It's just I don't know. It's another kind of awful song. I'm like, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling this, Ray Davies. I don't know why you were trying to go for a Pete Townsend kind of thing, but it's not working. It's not working at all. Um, Now we get to the next track on the album. Here comes Flash.
Yeah, another song that I just didn't care for, to be honest. Again, I don't know, there's nothing really catching my interest with a lot of these songs. It just kind of, I don't know, I don't know what they're going for on this album. They're not going for like a nice, I mean, I know they're going for this concept, but uh, I don't know, they did it much better on like Arthur, and stuff like that, Uh,
Exactly. You know, yeah, I remember when we were reviewing Arthur, you like, the story was so interesting. You kept you were looking at the lyrics. It was grabbing you. This is just like
yes,
it.
yeah,
It's not inviting. They're
not
more focused
grabbing me.
on the concept than making the good music. Like if what made okay, so what made Arthur and what made Lolo so good is that had a story. Don't get me wrong, had a good story, but they made good music so that it would grab you and make you want to listen and listen to the lyrics. This is like an album, like it's like they're focused on the plot and that's about it. They're
Mm,
not focused on making good music. They're not
yeah,
focused on grabbing you. They're like maybe if it's a good plot, people are gonna want to listen to it. No, Ray Davies, that's not how the other albums work. I don't know. I feel like they were more focused on the plot than they were on the music. Yeah, I think the song's awful too. It's just like, what the hell is going on? Now we're introducing us to a character called Flash. I'm like,
yeah.
oh man, this is not good at all. Um, Next song on the album, "Seen in the Midday Sun."
All right, I thought this song was actually pretty good. It's, I think, one of the better songs on the album. Uh, I think it had a really good chorus that was really catchy. Again, I'm always looking for like what's going to stay with me, something that I'm going to sing along to. And this finally has something I can kind of get onto. And I think the background vocals were really good when they were singing together and everything. So, yeah, we've got morning and daylight, and now we're getting the midday, I guess. And this is definitely much better on the album.
Yeah, I thought this was a really good song. After what, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, after like six like songs that I don't like. Yeah, now we
Right.
get to like a really good song again. It's like, I don't know, this is just, I love this song though. This is sort of like an A tier song, not an S tier song, but that doesn't mean I don't like it that much. I think this is a pretty good song. I've noticed every time they put singing on their song, it always ends up being a good song. Like singing in my hotel, singing in the midday sun. It's like
Yeah.
he just this whole album could have been like a plot about sitting. Maybe it would have been a good album then. Uh, but now we get to the last song, "Demolition."
Demolition, I thought this was actually a really good closer to the album. I actually quite enjoyed this song. And I'm going to say this, I don't know what Nick will think of me saying this, but it kind of reminded me of The Who a little bit. Like, I feel like they're almost going for like a Who vibe here on this song. I don't know, vocally, rock, it had a kind of a rock vocal to it that I thought reminded me of The Who. Um, and then it was very interesting how he would sing a line and then someone would like kind of answer they would talk. They wouldn't sing, they would like talk out an answer or something like that. I don't know. They're kind of going back and forth a little bit, which at first I was like a little bit like, I don't know what's going on here. But when I listened to it again, I was like, I kind of enjoyed it. I enjoyed that aspect of it. It was a little different. But it really came to the chorus, I thought, when they were singing about demolition and whatever, I thought the chorus was really kind of nice and catchy, and I kind of enjoyed that overall. And again, I thought the horns were really good here. They're really one of the best, some of the best horns probably on the album on this song. Yeah, so to me it was a good, different, but had a rocking tune to it that I liked, and I think it's if they had more songs like this on the album, it would have been a good album.
Um, so when you said that with the Who thing, well, this is what I've been saying the whole time before we got into this theatrical
Yeah,
take.
yeah.
This is the time where you wanted to be like Pete Townsend, and
Hmm.
yeah, this is another song I really don't like.
Oh, really?
I hate that he's trying to be like Pete Townsend. I'm like, you cannot be like Pete Townsend. Pete Townsend's Pete Townsend. You saw me give the Rolling Stones a hard time for trying to be like the Beatles, and you saw me give
Yeah,
the Beatles a hard time for trying to do the R&B. This
yeah.
is no exception. I'm giving Ray Davies a hard time. I'm
Now you're
like,
giving Ray Davis.
everyone's gonna like if you're trying to not be yourself. I'm like, I'm gonna critique you
Yeah, yeah,
heavily on that.
yeah.
Like, thankfully, Pete Townsend never veered away from being Pete Townsend. uh,
Right.
thankfully, that would have been bad.
Yeah,
But yeah, this is awesome though. This is this is awesome that I get to bash a Kinks album
I
because
know.
these past reviews, I wasn't for the most part I've been saying a lot of positives, but yep, it's awesome now I'm able to now I get to bash a Kinks album. But this is like I said, this is not the worst album yet. But what is your top five? If you
Yeah,
even have one, I don't care.
yeah. And I've been changing it around, so I'll see if I can read my own writing here. But I think number five, I put One of the Survivors. At number five. Number four, I put Sweet Lady Genevieve. Number three, I put Sitting in the Midday Sun. Two, Demolition, and one, Daylight. Which I'll say on top of mine, like Sitting in the Midday Sun, Demolition, Daylight are only three songs that are really worth listening to on the album, to be honest. If you want to listen to any of these songs on the album.
Okay. Um, my top three. I only have a top three. I couldn't think of
Okay.
5 songs.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, number three, I'm gonna say "Singing in the Midday Sun." And my two favorite songs were really. It was going back and forth constantly. I'll go number two, "Sweet Lady Genevieve," and number one, "Daylight." Daylight.
They
That
did
song.
go Daylight. Okay.
That song is really good.
Yeah.
Again, it's not really top tier material. What will you rate this album?
I went with a 6.5 out of 10. Um, Mostly because when I was thinking, at this point we're 12 albums in, so it's kind of easy to start comparing albums at this point and going, okay, where's the top, where's the bottom, where's the middle, and to me, like, I wasn't a big fan of Percy, and I gave Percy a 7 out of 10 because I still thought there was some good ballad stuff in Percy. And so I kind of was like thinking about this album. I just thought I think I don't like it as much as I like Percy, and Percy only didn't like that much either, and I gave it 7. So I gave 6.5. So I to put it right below Percy. I was like, it's not quite at the Percy level, but better than Most Little Hillbillies. That's my bottom. So I can go, okay, it's better than that, but it's not as good as Percy. So it's right there at 6.5.
Dang. I'm giving this a 4 out of 10.
Oh, 4.
This is the lowest I've given a Kinks album so far, and like I said, this is not even the worst Kinks album yet. Um, Next album we're gonna be reviewing Preservation Act 2. It's gonna be a double album.
Double album. Yeah.
Yippee!
Curious what this is
Now,
gonna sound.
now you get to hear the style, but with 2 discs.
Yeah.
Yes, let's go. And guess what? There's no real highlights.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, okay, I think I'm giving away what I
Yeah.
think this album is, but thank you guys for watching this. I had fun bashing this album. Stay tuned next week where me and Jason bash the next album, Preservation Act 2. Don't worry, there's literally no Kinks fan I've ever met in my entire life said this is their favorite Kinks album.
Right.
At least I hope so. I'm really hoping you're not going to be
Got it.
this is my favorite Kinks album, but I would
Yeah.
be really sad if that happened because I would feel bad for bashing it. But thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.